title. And hello, I think we are live, in fact. So welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Slam Jam Championship Wrestling Show here on the Slam Jam and Extreme Improv YouTube channels and possibly some other places. But this is Slam Jam. So as always, first things first, let's hit that intro. Where's the intro? There's the intro.
We're locked in a cage, it's the Slam Jam Show. We're dynamite, you better feel alive. We're better than you, and you know it. Yeah. If you don't like it, we got two words for you. Slam Jam, feel the power, feel the roar. Slam Jam, it's the smackdown you've been waiting for. You can't see us, Chico, you've been serving hard time. Ooh, yeah. Slam Jam, and that's the bottom line. Slam Jam, now it's a Slam Jam wrestling show. We're life for life, up good, it's the big show. You got no chance when you're real forget. That's where it's back to us if you spell what we're cooking. It's a Slam Jam wrestling show. The champion's here. Snap into a Slam Jam. The Slam Jam show. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Oh, you didn't know. It's the Slam Jam show. We are blessed. Whooping ass. It's the Slam Jam F1 show of you. Yeah.
Boom, and we are live. So hello, everyone, and welcome to the Slam Jam Show. I am David. This is Dave. Dave, say hello to the people.
Hello, glad to be back on the Slam Jam FN show. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. No, it's been a little while. This week, though, we have got a new WWE champion in Sami Zayn. We have had Forbidden Door, and a bunch of other things have been going on. So what do you want to talk about?
We'll start with what we started off with there on that. I think the what they call it the miracle. About 5 times in the space of a second.
Yeah, so we had Night of Champions. Let's just bring up the full list. Do you know what? Like the show
We had a total of like 3 title matches.
yeah, Night of Champions, 3 title matches. Oh, and loads of titles, I guess, that weren't even contested there. It was weird because it was Night of Champions, but it was also King of the Ring. So why wasn't this just King of the Ring? Because they could have made it King of the Ring and just had King and Queen of the Ring tournament finals.
Yeah, I think I'm in a minority. I always actually quite liked King of the Ring, the original sort of format on the pay-per-view with the 8.
Oh no, I like that. I'd much prefer that.
With 4 matches into 1. I actually quite liked it, but apparently back in the day it wasn't a great draw for buy rates, I guess. But
yeah,
I don't like the fact I like if it's going to be a tournament, at least have the semi-finals and the final on the day, because then you've got a little bit of mystery of who's going to face who.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, they haven't done King of the Ring right since. Because so the last one properly was when Brock won it, and that was the first time where they were like the winner of the King of the Ring. Now it's got Royal Rumble like stakes, and then was the next King of the Ring after that Booker, like 3-4 years later?
I don't remember.
Like definitely had King Booker, probably. King. We had William Regal won it.
Cool.
Wade Barrett. I'm trying to think who else.
Yeah.
Like, and then Xavier Woods won it. Yeah, Sheamus. Yeah. But yeah, and then so it's not been a proper pay-per-view, except for I think they did do it as a pay-per-view in Saudi a year or 2 ago. I can't remember.
Yeah, wasn't it like was that not like a crown jewel sort of situation?
Oh yeah, quite possibly. Yeah.
Well, at least it was also the first Queen of the Ring, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, at least that fits the title. But we had the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring tournament finals at Night of Champions. which was kind of an underwhelming show until the main event, really.
Yeah, and I'd argue it wasn't even. I mean, I still need to watch the main event like properly. I think it's one of those things that like something sort of going on, like life generally, that you sort of have things on the background for a little bit. And because I'd already knew the results, I did want to skip ahead. I think I'd seen something on there. I'm like, no, they haven't actually put it on even. Just put it up on Netflix and then skip towards the end and seeing he'd won it. I was properly shocked and really happy about it, apart from anything else, because I thought that was the decision. I thought if anything they were going to do anything, they were not going to go there. But yeah, but all signs seem to point to the idea that it's only going to be brief. So enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, and do you know what? I've got nothing against there being a transitional champion where it means that someone gets to be a world champion. Because even if someone is world champion for like literally a day, like Finn Balor in WWE, he's a former WWE, Universal but world champion, and then you get people like, how much into the obscurity would Jack Swagger or Jinder Mahal be post WWE if it wasn't for the fact that they get to say that they're a former world champion? It really does make a difference for someone's career. Some people don't need it and can still have huge careers like Roddy Piper's or Jake the Snake Roberts, etc. But some people, them being a world champion is the difference between them being kind of a, oh yeah, they were there for a while, or not, or nothing.
Yeah, yes, no. I think it does depend what they do with them in the reign and post, because it's Sami has been the most interesting character, I think, just recently in terms of this whole last real good guy sort of thing. I think that he's straying the line. He's a tweener, so he's straying the line between the two roles, and he's trying to do the right thing, but things end up biting him in the ass, and so on and so forth, which is an interesting thing. And especially considering that when he started doing this character, he was feuding with the Gingerbread Man, so it's a good turnaround, really. But yeah, I don't know. It's like transitional champion. We're transitioning to. We're going transitioning from Cody to Cody.
Well, well, but or he'll keep it against Cody and drop it to someone else, because I think Cody having the title back again, like, okay, so wasn't the whole idea of Obafemi winning the King of the Ring that he gets a world title shot, or did they never announce that?
Well, no, he did it, and it was the opening part of Raw where Lesnar came back, and they said to him, "So like, no, you can't. We can't do this match at SummerSlam. You've got a title match." And he says, "I will hold that title match can wait. I'll keep that." So he's established. No,
so they literally did.
It can wait. I want Lesnar.
They literally did Cody's stepping aside for the Rock thing with Oba, so that he can just fight Brock there, but. And wouldn't Brock be more interested in saying, "Yeah, you win the title, and then I'll take the title from you"? But anyway, I guess.
One night, night one, win it, and if win it, I'll have LSL.
Yeah. So just going over some of the things from, like, okay, so I've got this here with the timings of the matches. Obafemi and Jey Uso was less than 8 minutes long, and it felt like it dragged, and I blame entirely Jey Uso for this. Maybe it's like the heat out there or something like this, but he just felt like he was moving in slow motion.
Well, I mean, two guys have probably never fought each other before either. Got to give them a little bit of credence for that. It's not like they're doing house shows and they got to work the loops until before they go on to TV or pay-per-view.
Yeah, true.
It's not like those, not like the good old days. Jay is Jay. He's doing the tweener thing all wrong at the minute, because like Sammy's like listened to the crowd. They've listened to the crowd with Sammy, and Sammy's had maybe a bit of input and saying maybe we should do this. If they are like getting a bit annoyed with me whining all the time, then maybe we should focus on that bit. No one's focusing on the fact that Jay's being a bit of a tool, and that he's, I don't know, maybe or then again maybe I'm working myself into a shoot as it was, and they are actually like doing that, but because he is being a complete douche at the moment to Jacob and everyone went to LA Knight and people around him, because he's sort of so blinkered in like what in being Roman's right hand man again, and this whole issue with them with him and Jacob and then and it seems that but he's still doing the eats and doing the entrance and doing the rolling it back and all that sort of stuff to please the fans.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, but the fans are still reacting to the eats. They still love the entrance. Everyone's still doing that. No one's booing. It's not getting to the point of Cena territory where they're booing Jay for his in-ring stuff. They're just sort of. I think you can probably tell a little bit of like a little bit of that reaction in some ways.
I think you're right. They do have like he's got some gimmicks that have got over, and you think when the bloodline was lost in its heyday, and there was like the dynamics with like Sami Zayn, and it's like Jay hates him and stuff like this. It's like, well, they can dip back into some of that kind of feeling, but back then he didn't have all of this. You know, he didn't have any of this stuff where it's like, well, I need to keep that just to sell my merch and stuff. So it may just be that they don't balance it too well.
And it's also that the whole point of him having those gimmicks and having the eat and having the music is it's just me. It's still got that music as well. So
didn't they update it? Didn't they?
It hasn't been just you for at least a year.
Didn't they update it?
Have they? I don't know.
I thought they did. I thought there was a version where it went back so that it made sense for.
Maybe they play that one for the Usos when they're tagging.
Yeah, maybe. Like I'll be honest, I don't pay a lot of attention to his entrances anymore. Because...
Well, no, you shared that video of Urkel and his mate doing the Obafemi dance, the stuff on there. I would listen to the music, and it wasn't for that he was doing that. I wouldn't even recognize it. I've not heard that music outside without people either doing the whoo or the chant over it. I wouldn't have recognized it on its own.
I think I'd struggle with a lot of modern WWE themes.
It's all crap.
Yeah, like okay.
At least Jey Uso's one is actually like reasonably recognizable. It starts off, it is at least.
Yeah, like okay. They sing to Seth, so that was recognizable. So. I wouldn't recognize most of them, to be honest, out of context. But anyway, EO defeated Liv, but it was given away because Danhausen cursed Liv just before, and because it's become a pop culture thing of him cursing people. It just meant that it was an absolute spoiler. There was zero doubt in my mind as soon as Danhausen was there that the final of the Queen of the Ring tournament was set. So that was a bit of a shame, because doing it a second before the match, they could have had it happen backstage on SmackDown or whatever, or Raw, just so that it like put a little bit of distance between it. But oh well.
He's too busy doing his backstage stuff with the rest of Judgment Day and Mizhausen and Kithausen.
Yeah. I'm like, what? So we said about this on our group chat. You were enjoying the Franken Miz.
I don't mind it so much because it's so stupid in that respect. But if you're going to do that, have him concentrate on doing that bit. Don't then peter it out and make it even more so by having him doing stuff on Raw with Judgment Day as well. Have something else happen there. You don't have to like this whole thing about then the Dom and JD opening a briefcase and powder comes out of it or whatever it was in there. That stuff's just a bit rubbish. At least this stuff you're showcasing a little bit with Miz, particularly with his comedy skills. You know, that he's totally in on this.
Yeah, Miz,
this character. And he's kind of Teflon, Miz. He'll be able to do this stuff, and like when it's over, he'll be right back to being Miz again, and he'll be fine. He'll get reactions, all that sort of stuff. He literally has done it all, and this is just another thing he's then adding to it. The idea of him just speaking in his catchphrases right back to the very beginning when he was first in there with the hoorah, and then like every one of them all the way down, which sort of, Kit being part of it as well is a bit stupid because he's only got Toxic to sort of fall back on, because that's all we can say now. But at least Miz has got these older catchphrases from a very storied career.
I do think putting Kit Wilson with Miz was a smart idea.
It was,
However they come out of this, I think that's something to elevate Wilson as a singles star eventually. But yeah, it's like you're right. Miz can bounce back kind of from anything, and like we mentioned about like Sami Zayn being with like a gingerbread man, and when he was like wrestling Jackass at WrestleMania and stuff like this, he's done a lot of comedy stuff. But like interestingly, the stuff with Sami on social media, where he's riding with a belt, he's having coffee with his WWE Championship. It's like.
You see the video of some fans were driving like alongside him on the freeway or something like that, and he's in a convertible going, Sammy, and Sammy's like there going, holding the belt. I'm going, yeah.
I love the fact that he's loving it. Yeah, I love the fact that he's loving it. And this is what I was going to say. Sami enjoying himself is so much better than Sami being too serious, because Sami being serious, they've never quite got the balance right for me. And this is what I was going to say. Whereas Miz, when Miz has been serious on occasion, it doesn't break his character, and then Miz can literally bounce about anywhere to any character, any tone needed, and somehow it does work, and it doesn't change that the next week he could be in a different position on the show.
Yeah, it's a hallmark of a more talented individual that most of the internet wrestling community want to admit he is.
Yeah.
Would be said.
But yeah, does it come down to in ring? Because the Miz is fine in ring, but I think people look at him, especially when he became world champion, and it was just like, and also the thing that cursed Miz was a little bit like he was put in NXT as the mentor of Daniel Bryan, and so forever it would just be like. It's like this guy can't wrestle as good as the one that he was the mentor of, and I think that stained him forever as being he can't wrestle as well as others.
I don't know. I think they played that perfectly back then. I thought it was a perfect person to be his mentor.
Oh no, I agree.
Because he was the polar opposite of Bryan Danielson. So,
but I think it really just framed him as, we're annoyed at this guy because he isn't a wrestler like some of the wrestlers we like. And I think that aspect never left him.
Yeah, but his argument probably would be, I've only been seriously injured once in my entire career. So who's really the idiot here?
What injury was that?
I think it was during the Thunderdome era. I think got injured in a match between Priest or something, and it was out for a little while. That was literally the only time. Simon's been out like for injury related reasons for a long period of time. He's been on the shows like regularly for the last 17 years or something like that. Has he been around?
Something like that. Because he wasn't he first in Tough Enough.
He was in Tough Enough. Then they brought him in as the host of SmackDown and the host of the Deep Search and all that sort of stuff. And then is that a story career? Yeah.
Okay. What else was on that show?
We had we had the Queen and King of the Ring finals with Sami winning it. We had the steel cage match of Seth and Braun, which was pretty good. Thought Braun sold the super stomp really well. That they landed that better than he's ever done that particular when he's done it off the middle rope. And that's then segued into we were talking about in the group chat how like there was like 8 options, wasn't there, for like the title matches at the men's title matches at SummerSlam of Obafemi versus whoever, or Joseph versus whoever, and things like that.
Yes, true.
And of course they've gone for the big fresh match of Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins at SummerSlam.
Well, okay, I think that's not bad for a SummerSlam though, because Seth isn't going to win there, and and like if that was at WrestleMania, I feel like even though that when is the last time they haven't ever main evented Mania together, have they?
No,
I think Seth went against Brock, and then there was the cash in, obviously.
Yeah, it was 3-way match, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Well, they're going on
obviously with Punk.
they're going on this this idea that Roman's never beaten Seth one-on-one and all that sort of bits and pieces. Bullshit, he has, but but not in a big pay-per-view match, and not when the title's been on the line, I guess, is the point of that. And they can sort of do it, but we're talking about fresh matches and things like that, and fresh stuff, looking for SummerSlam and things like that. The 3 matches they've got announced: Seth versus Roman, they've done it.
Yeah.
Brock versus Over, number 3, and Liv versus Io, which they've just done.
Is it 2 nights again this year?
Yes. And at the moment, it looks like they're going to do Charlotte versus Jade. I think it's going to be one of the headlines as well. Obviously, it's got Sami versus or Cody versus whoever's going to be WWE champion. Rumor being could be Cody versus Punk. So they're Raw's from Chicago
been
this
back
week.
since Mania, has he?
Raw's in Chicago this week, so it's more likely.
Okay.
And they'll do multiple different matchups, and probably the tag titles probably be ignored again, and can't remember who the champions are. Oh, Street Profits, of course. They did that very cringe segment with Joe Henry. They show they've got a lot of skills, these Street Profits, but singing ain't one of them.
I didn't see that segment actually.
Yeah, don't.
Okay, I'll avoid it. Let's come on to the actual. Well, okay, so Trick and Ricky Saints. I'm glad that Saints didn't win. Like he shouldn't win it yet. He shouldn't. I'm not convinced by him at all in WWE generally.
Yeah, he's sort of the NXT sort of run was fine, but they kind of brought him in, and they don't. It doesn't. It seems that they just don't know what either. They don't know what to do with him, or he's just not ready for what they want to do with him.
Yeah,
he's trying as I might to sort of like understand that he's got all this prowess and he's got like skills and he's got personality and he's got mic skills and all this other bits and pieces and things like that. But it does seem that whenever he's put into a prominent position, and not just in WWE, in AEW, it kind of just doesn't hit right.
Yeah,
they put him in a position against MJF. For whatever reason, it didn't work. They put him in a program with Jericho, again, it didn't work. And every time they put him in anything, it seemed that it just didn't work. The nearest they got to him getting really across really well was that random match he had with Danielson the weekend after all Wembley.
Well, wasn't he? So he was in a feud with Punk at the time, and then Punk obviously was gone.
They transitioned it to Ricky Steamboat.
Yeah.
Remember, he was going to sign a contract that said Dragon on it.
Dragon.
Yeah. I didn't mean this dragon. I meant this dragon. So they did that random match with Brian Danielson.
Sometimes I love wrestling logic, where you can kind of like see like where they went there, but you're just like, there's so many holes in that. It's like, who just has a contract that says Dragon? We'll obviously get onto Forbidden Door, but the circuit that we actually had a ring that should just be called the Ring, right? But when who climbed up actually, and then it exploded.
It was Kevin Knight.
Yeah, Kevin Knight climbed up, and then Darby climbed up, and then the bag exploded, and they were like, Darby Allin rigged it. And it's like, how do you know this? It's just one of these leaps. It's like, okay, that's the explanation.
How do you know it? And also, how do they know that Kevin Knight was going to go after that particular bag?
Well, yeah. But yeah, this is sometimes pro wrestling logic, where it'll be like, we'll put something in there, we'll say something, it'll sound like it should make sense, even though if you think about it for a split second, there's huge holes in it.
Yeah. It's like a bad Harlan Coben series.
It's like a what?
It's like a bad Harlan Coben series.
I don't know what that means.
Harlan Coben is like novelist and writer of there's loads of Netflix series.
Okay. No.
They're generally really good, but my wife and I just finished watching the latest one yesterday, and it's not great.
What's the latest one called?
I Will Find You, and it's just like, and it's got full of little plot holes here and there, and things like that. Not massive, but it's like, but some just plausibility.
Yeah.
There's one of them where the protagonist's ex-wife explains that she blames herself for having a coffee with this guy that ends up being a husband in this particular bit, and that's the reason that she blames herself for their son being murdered, or which is the crux of the story. And
Right.
it's like, hang on, why? If you blame yourself for having a coffee with this guy, why have you married this guy? Surely every time you see this guy, he would
Mm,
remind you of this horrible event, and you're
yeah.
blaming you and all that sort of stuff. If you hadn't gone for this coffee, you'd have been there to protect your son. So yeah, just logic holes and things like that are just like really bad. But obviously, in wrestling, it's even worse when you do literally think about it. Like, why would you bring a bag of weapons to a show and not realize there is a whole human being in there?
Yeah, yeah. Well, exactly. It's just there's been so many of those moments, and AEW loves those moments because remember, like back in the day when they drag out a table, and Orange Cassidy was just on it, and it's like, what was he waiting there for in case someone
Yeah.
didn't drag
Well,
that table out?
that's how Danhausen debuted in AEW, wasn't it? Adam
Oh
Cole
yeah,
pulled him
yeah,
out
yeah,
onto the
yeah.
ring, and it was they suddenly got up and cursed him. And it was like,
Yeah.
but R-Truth's done that as well, though. To be fair, do you remember when Cesaro pulled him out? Tried to pull out a table. It was like, this is heavier than usual, and R-Truth's just on it because
I
he's
don't
hiding.
remember that. That's
He's
great.
hiding from everybody because he's the 24/7 champion, so he's hiding from everybody.
Okay,
He
yeah,
gets pulled out, and he's on the table going,
yeah. Oh well, right. Well, anyway, so yeah. Anything particularly on anything else there? Trick, Stratton, Jade, and then obviously Cody, Gunther, and Sammy.
No, it's strange that I was going to talk about the Jade faction. They are officially now calling them the baddies, as they did in AEW, which is, I guess, good to give them a name at least. But I find it strange that they're giving them a bit more prominence in, like, particularly in tag team wins and things like that, than they are with the Fatal Influence group, who came in really, really hot, very strong, and are now just losing to Paige and Brie every week. And it's like, huh? What? You got these guys in really strong, really good, but now they're just losing every week, including JC, who should have maybe been a bit more protected, I think, than having to lose to a fluky roll up from Page. And I know they're in England, but I don't know.
Yeah. Gosh, it's so weird at the last couple of months WWE, and this seems like an annual thing now. I'm not super complaining about it, but just getting used to, for a good couple of months, all of the shows are like at reasonable UK watch times and stuff like this. And then all of the pay-per-views. Because what was the last one? Clash in Italy? Yeah, Clash in Italy. What was the main event of that? Jesus, my brain. Was that Gunther and Cody?
It wasn't even the main event of that thing. No, it was Jacob and Roman.
Jacob. Yeah. Okay.
Tribal combat.
Oh.
Every match is tribal combat, as I would say.
Yeah. Every disqualification.
Yeah. But it's you see the attendance at the O2 show though on the SmackDown when they tried to like sell extra seats by saying, "Oh, we'll screen the England." Right.
Now,
attendance terrible for the O2. That was really bad. But then, hey, it's the thing. They make the shows unaffordable.
It's going to be that. It's going to be that England were playing and
Heat Wave as well.
Heat Wave, yeah, there was a lot of reasons. Now, this Heat Wave has been absolutely insanity. Like a week ago, it's better now, but it's still at times fairly toasty. But a week ago, and have you had any? Like, I know this is suddenly completely off the topic of wrestling, but have you had any rain in the last week?
Yeah, we had a bit of rain, and
really
over the last week we had thunderstorms, but during the heat wave and everything. But no, you don't have to tell me about the heat wave affecting attendance. We did our LAPD Improv had a show last Thursday at a very hot South End on Sea, and we didn't. Yeah, but we did get a decent attendance in the end, which was nice and a surprise. But some people had bought tickets and hadn't turned up, and then just couldn't do it. It was because it was just so hot.
Yeah.
But it's so I completely understand. There's reasons out there for people to not want to travel and things like that. But when they are constantly touting how much they bring into the box office and things like that, and you see that in England of all places, where anytime WWE's over, it's a sellout product.
Yeah.
And, no matter how much they.
At some point, they have to suffer. It has to go bad for them to start correcting this. Yeah. And if there are enough fans who still go, then unfortunately they'll never learn. It
Mm.
kind of needs, and this is where we've spoken about this on the show before, and it's a big topic out there. Just for next year's WrestleMania, AEW should look at the opportunity of, do they literally go head to head? Do they go really lean into, we're doing the patriotic on our soil and stuff like this for our fans, and it's a big fan fest, people coming around from UK and Australia and Europe and Germany and all these places.
Definitely should do, especially with the expansion of their app and their streaming service that they're currently doing. So they've got a few more wrestling companies on there now.
Have they?
By that point, they could have even more if Triller go out of business and things like that. There's rumors about GCW going to be going over to the My AEW app as well, because that pretty much is the.
Okay, I've literally had it open because I was watching a Forbidden Door. What other promotions do they have? Because obviously it shows
Go to the home bit. You'll just scroll all the way down through all the bits. You'll see other companies, like indie companies, on there. But there are rumors that GCW Game Changer are possibly going to be going on there due to this whole situation with Triller. And obviously with the amount of companies that stream with them, there's other companies that have already said we're going on to other avenues. So if they're able to get more companies on their streaming service, then they could easily do something with these companies and do a massive wrestling festival, like you say.
Yeah. What, I'm just going to bring this up a second, Dave, just because this is a revelation to me. So let's just take a look. My AEW, obviously, as long as I don't click play on anything. So they've got one FW from Atlanta, Georgia.
Yep.
And obviously, like there's Roosh, so I'm guessing there's going to be some crossover talent.
Produce pay-per-view, projects, yes, right.
Warrior Wrestling Chicago. Oh,
yeah,
Creator Pro.
Creator Pro. That's where MJF trained.
Yeah. Wrestle Pro New Jersey.
Yeah.
Limitless. Wow, this is actually really exciting. Yeah. I had no idea. Capital Championship Combat. Ottawa.
C4, yeah, they're pretty good. That's where Evil Uno and Dose and all that come from.
What's the Scott D'Amore Canadian promotion called?
That is Maple Leaf. They're
on this.
Yeah, they're not on there at the moment. They're just independent at the moment. They're in their own. They are their own thing. But yeah, they're getting more companies on there. Even got some CMLL stuff on there, So it's
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, they are expanding it. As I say, the idea that they could do work with these companies to do more stuff for this essentially WrestleMania weekend would be a very good idea. And I think they would. I can't see a world in which they wouldn't do that.
Well, do you know what? Like, see, here's the thing, because obviously we're about to get onto Forbidden Door. I think AEW, for their own good, they need to really make them the main product and stuff like this. And fine, Forbidden Door, expanding it to CMLL and stuff like this. But if they're going to do something compete with WrestleMania, then they should set it up like a WrestleMania weekend where these other promotions have shows in and around the weekend. But would you want it to be that it's like some super card with people from New Japan and CMLL and all these indie things on there? Because wouldn't it just seem like kind of like the original All In, where it's just the indie super card rather than AEW saying we're competing with WrestleMania?
Yeah, no, I'm really saying it as in what WrestleMania weekend usually is. Is WrestleMania is the main show, but all the other companies are around the area to do shows themselves and run up to it.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what AEW should do. I'm not saying they should do a super show with everyone involved.
Yeah,
it's certainly they are going to do the super card sort of the super show situation, which and the other shows just happen to have their own shows in and around that bit, which could include AEW talent. So what they're doing over here, they got when they do All In, they've got Rev Pro are doing their big show at Wembley Arena the night before. And one of their main events is the Young Guns, which is one of the sort of big British tag teams. They're facing FTR.
Oh, right.
And then, so they've also got a bit of crossover with them. There are other companies such as Pro Wrestling Eve, I think, are doing a show as well. It's all female production in that one. They've already, involved AEW wrestlers because one of the bookers on that show is Will Ospreay, so he's obviously got ties with them to get in people like Chris Statlander and Alex Windsor and what's his name, Harley Cameron and things like that. They've already had them in with shows before, so they'll get them in again for their show on that weekend. So they are used to doing this sort of thing where they can send their wrestlers to different shows to give them the indies a bit of a boost as well.
Now,
so
I really think and again with this slightly skipping past Forbidden Door, but Ospreay obviously, you've seen the whole thing, you know the results, right?
I know the results. I haven't seen the match, but
okay. So Ospreay is going to get the world title match at All In. And it is already now July. I think, obviously you want Will Ospreay on TV each week to promote it, but I think they need to get him here. Look, depending how England do in the World Cup, you need to try to just get Will Ospreay to be like, especially if England don't win, and we're not going to win because we're against. Look. We did pretty good in recent years. It almost came home. We made it to a couple of finals. But I think the thing is, I think we're playing Mexico in the Arena Azteca, which I think they've done wrestling in. And apparently it's like at a massive altitude where like we're going to flag. So Will Ospreay, if AEW is smart, they could bring him in with like, he's going to clean up for the Pride of Britain at Wembley Stadium. They could do this. But they need to make him into a household name in the UK.
I'm confused. What are you suggesting he does at this game?
What, the World Cup?
Well, this Mexico game.
No, I'm not suggesting Will Ospreay does anything, but they should
substitute him for Harry Kane.
Yeah, exactly, right. No, but they should be promoting it now, where he's like, oh, England, England's going to win the World Cup. I'm going to win the world title. All this kind of stuff. And if they do leech off of it, and if they don't, be like, don't worry, boys, I've got your. Just do something. Yeah. Like build up to a thing, because I said when he wrestled Jericho, I think like 2 or 3 years ago, I was like, oh, this was a real opportunity to, because I didn't know, because that was the first All In London. Who knew if they were ever going to go back there or something. I was like, they should have really used that as an opportunity there, because he wasn't even. I think he was still New Japan contract there. Yeah, exactly. But so now they should do as big a build up and make it a national pride thing, and just try to get everyone in England to rally behind this. They could do. Anyway, let's come on to Forbidden Door. I have scanned through a lot of this show because they're long shows. I was like, I'm going to skip to match 2 or 3. Obviously, we started with the Young Bucks. And I was like, oh, I better watch this.
That was great, man. Very, very good.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Give me any particular thoughts on that, because I skipped straight to the end. I was like, oh, I'm probably.
Oh no! It was just a perfect pay-per-view opener. It's just 3 aerial teams that are able to do some amazing stuff. They wisely put Mystico in for this one because it's a San Jose crowd who obviously have a lot of Latin American people who will follow CMLL and see Mystico as this massive star that he is. So he got a huge reaction when he came out with Mascara Dorada. And you've got Shingo Takagi and Titan, who are two of my sort of favorites as well. They just lit up. It was just a perfect opener. Just lots of fun high spots and fun moments in there. And then you follow that up after that with Zack Sabre Jr. versus Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good opening salvo of stuff. This is like if you're going to do Forbidden Door and do it with home talent against the other group's talent, that's how you start it off. Arguably they probably shouldn't do Forbidden Door again, just because the lines between the different companies have sort of been
completely blurred.
blurred out too much. There's not really no one on the main card apart from Shota Umino, I think, was a winner who wasn't AEW, and obviously they have got a few other matches which are just solely AEW versus AEW. I think there was the women's Owen Hart final was originally meant to be Sari from Japan against Mercedes in that final, but she wasn't cleared to compete, so they did this story with Maya World, who absolutely stormed it for her match. It was a very, very good effort on that side. They have made a new sort of name out of her for that division, which is good, because they need some more names in the women's division. And as far as the other matches I have properly, some of it I'm going to have to rewatch. Zack and Omega have sort of gone a bit glossed over a little bit, because I didn't really get to watch a lot of it. I think I was, because of the heat wave and everything like that, I have been running on fumes a little bit this lately. I wasn't really paying a huge amount of attention to it, even though it was a match I was quite looking forward to watching. But we've already alluded to it. The ring, the circular steel cage, which I thought was a really nice touch. I thought the circular steel cage was a really nice design. What they called it, the Death's Door. That's what they've
now. So this. What's great about this is AEW have already got Blood and Guts, which is their War Games, and this is, I guess, in a sense, their Elimination Chamber or whatever. It's their different unique Hell in the Cell. Yeah, exactly. It's their different differentiator, and it's a circle, and it's really unique looking because of it. And it gives them a lot of space around the ring to be able to do stuff, and it means that they can still do all of the cagey stuff. Right at the end, Darby doing the coffin drop, I was like, oh my god, because the angle of it as well. I was just like, where is he? Where is it? Because I didn't see obviously the huddle that he was going into.
Yeah, it was very well.
What was going on? It
was very well directed, wasn't it? Because I assumed to go on drop onto Kevin Knight. It was already laid out on the tables. That when
Knight went through the table, only not all of them broke. So
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. He just suddenly stopped, didn't he?
Yes,
midair. I was like, oh, that had to have hurt.
Yeah.
So Darby was about to drop off the thing to the coffin drop. I thought he's not going to try and put him through the thing. Where's he going? Oh, there's 6 guys there. Okay, good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it down there. Again, you talk about wrestling logic. We glossed over it. Obviously, Leo Rush being involved as well. That's been quite a funny angle as well. Him sort of having been stalking Orange Cassidy for a little while, and the whole "don't move, you can't see you if you don't move" sort of defense Cassidy's been doing. And Leo's been doing so well with this gimmick. Have you seen the clips of him doing podcast interviews and things like that in character?
No.
Oh, it's so funny. They'll ask him a question, and they'll go, just doing and just answering one word things, and the guy's sort of going, "You okay?" So it's, and they go, "Are you okay, Leo?" "It's fine. Yeah, just doing everything in
character with it.
It's so good. But but I did like him sort of appearing and sort of causing chaos, and then having to wrap him back up in the bag and chain him up so he didn't get out again.
Yeah.
Just a bit of humor. But the funniest bit for me was when Andrade finally had it with MJF and knocked him out with that elbow, and then kicked Jack Doyle in the balls, and then takes his Don Callis shirt off, puts his other shirt off to reveal a "fuck Don fuck MJF" shirt. I was like, you've been wrestling with 3 or 4 layers on. What's wrong with you? But yeah, just the idea you had that just in case you decided you had enough. Yeah, that shirt, mate.
No, so again, I will go back and I will because I kind of I skipped through the opening tag. I kind of saw a lot of Omega and Sabre, but like I said, background stuff. Moxley and Bandido, I watched pretty much the whole thing. Umino Pac, I'm just looking through what they're. I saw a lot of that, but again, this is one of these foregone conclusion matches when it's interpromotional. They kind of need to have if they are, again, like you say, Forbidden Door, and I don't think they're not going to do a Forbidden Door because it's one of their big things. Oh, we're being invaded.
The big thing, if they actually really stick to it and really credit themselves to it. Hi, Dev.
Hello.
Hello, Dev. Oh, you've got
What is
Uncle Saudi with
What
you
is
there.
that thing on your screen?
Uncle Saudi.
Uncle Saudi, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. We were just saying about Forbidden Door.
Yes.
And I don't think they haven't had a crossover world championship change, have they? Today.
They did with Moxley lost the IWGP title to Naito.
Well, okay, but
IWGP title change.
That's kind of just giving them their title back.
Yeah, but they haven't done one where. This is the thing. If it was just a case of if they really did focus in and go all in on the actual idea of it being interpromotional, cross-promotional matches all the way through, have everyone have sort of reasonably varied results. As I said earlier, I think apart from Shota, the only person he was the only one from another company that won their match in the main pay-per-view. Everyone else won their matches on the pre-show. You had Maloney winning, and you had Stardom Gold winning her place in the match on Dynamite.
Yeah. Go on, Dev.
I think it's the wrong pay-per-view for them to go all in.
Because of All In.
Yes.
There you go.
But
That.
see, I don't know. Like the entire time, the concept of Forbidden Door seems to be AEW beats every other company on every show. Like,
Generally
thank you for
speaking.
coming over with us. But you get a job to us. Like, it doesn't benefit the other companies for coming in, basically, which is annoying.
I mean, it does and it doesn't. I mean, they're getting obviously seen on a more global stage and everything like that. But I do agree that at a certain point, it goes back to the whole Vince, buys WCW and then beats it, even though he owns it. It's like AEW, you've made the deal, so spread the love a little. You can do that.
No, I mean they did a Forbidden Door-esque sort of thing on the thing when they were doing the intros for the opening tag matches and things like that. They showed highlights of how Mystico and Mascara Dorado had won the Ring of Honor tag titles on CML. They did that on a CMLL show. Okay. I think one of the reasons they did that was because I believe that what's his face, the Beast, Beast Mortos, is having visa issues, I think. So they wanted to get the RH titles back in the country and bringing it into a pair that one could wrestle at CMLL and two could also wrestle for AEW without any problems because they're not having visa issues. So they put them on Mystico and Dorada, which is fine. But they, if ideally they could have done that as a thing to do at Forbidden Door, it would have been like the CML teams just won the Ring of Honor tag titles. It's you can still do these title changes if all these companies are working together. You can still do these random title changes. You could easily have done something with the TBS title. I know they couldn't do it this year because they were doing this match on Dynamite to crown a new champion. But you could do that. That could be a title change there. You give someone to someone from Stardom or CMLL on that score and have that title taken to the company and then defended elsewhere before it comes back. They've done it before with lower card titles. So there's no reason they couldn't do that. Yeah,
absolutely. But and again, it's just like do it like if no one ever if no one ever does it with like the world title from either company, then it's just this thing where you read about like in the 1980s, someone goes over to Japan and it's a time limit draw or something like this, and it's just like, well, just do something that surprises us. Do something that surprises and have a plan for it. Plan it 2 or 3 months out. Plan, okay, we're doing this pay-per-view again next year. We're going to do it in June or July. What are we looking at from both companies to build something around this, or even if it's just that the storyline is that like there's if a New Japan guy takes the world title and then AEW are like, we don't have a world champion anymore, we look really weak, and then you just kind of extend the Forbidden Door storyline rather than it be the culmination. You have it lead for another month or whatever.
Yeah, but didn't WWE do that with Invasion? TNA.
Well,
TNA
yeah.
Invasion.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah. Like TNA's been interesting. Did I read that they've had a couple of releases. Did Mike Santana leave?
They've been taking people out left, right, and center. People backstage have been going. Tommy Dreamer's
Eric
gone.
Young.
Tommy Dreamer, Eric Young,
Sammy Callahan's gone. Steve Macklin's gone. Eric Young's gone today.
Eric Young did clarify that he wanted to leave, like he asked for it.
But didn't he also want to leave WWE when he left? So what's his plan? What's his thinking now? Because there's stuff saying here about, he could go back to WWE, but I thought he left because he had issue with someone or other.
Issue with Vince, that was his thing.
Was it Vince?
Yeah.
So because he went back, then never appeared on TV, and then went back to Impact again. But but that's when the sort of Vince might be back sort of things started to take over, and he decided to leave then. So I don't know. You got MLW, baby, that's still there.
MLW, is it though? Do they still even have weekly shows?
I'm being very tongue in cheek. That's where everyone goes when the top three companies really don't want you.
Yeah.
At what point do you end up in NWA?
When MLW don't want you anymore.
Yeah. Don't want you.
There's a higher tier.
I've just heard rumors of WWE getting Big Cass because he's at AEW now.
Well, Big Cass and Enzo may be returning, which I'm actually kind of excited about the prospect of that. Because no, go ahead.
Enzo debuted in TNA with Umaga's son a few weeks ago.
We talked about. Remember, David did this on the year-end quiz. I mentioned about this about Enzo leading a team from Fourth Rope Wrestling that beat a TNA team, 3-man team in like 3 minutes on a pre-show.
Wow.
This visiting company, and Enzo was one of them. Yeah, with Zilla Fatu, who apparently is also signed to WWE now as well.
And everybody's worried that the Seth Rollins match will end up being with him getting a Samoan Spike from Zilla.
Okay.
I mean, it could be. Like, the whole bloodline, just new people coming in. I think, one, it's milked so much. And two, when they've now just fired a bunch of the bloodline. Like, we've lost Tongaloa, we've lost JC Mateo.
They weren't the bloodline.
I know they weren't the bloodline, but they were the NWO Wolfpack.
Yeah.
They were the B team.
Well, exactly. This is what I'm saying. It's like, how many of these people can you? Because do you remember when Solo first debuted?
Yeah,
it was just like, oh wow, there's another one, and he's like the enforcer of it and stuff like this. And then once you bring in Jacob, obviously, and it's like, okay, well, everyone knows who Jacob is historically. But then when you start bringing in, okay, here's a Tonga and a Tamatonga and a Tongaloa and a Tula Tonga, it's just like it becomes the new Nexus, the core and stuff like this.
Annoying thing is they brought in Solo to be Jacob because they couldn't get Jacob. They literally made Solo into Jacob when Jacob could do Jacob much better.
Yeah.
So Solo had to act like Jacob until they could get Jacob. And then Solo turned into a mini Mobster Roman.
Well, that was the problem. If you remember, they were like, they were hesitating bringing in Jacob once they'd signed him because they were like, he's going to show up Solo, and then Solo, he's got so
more his legal history that was the issue. I think bringing him in.
No, but by the time they'd signed him, But then the funny thing with Solo is that he's actually got so much personality and humor, which the more he does it, I'm like, how can you go back to being this monster ever?
Yeah, like behind the scenes, Solo was hilarious and it's charisma. And on screen, he's like, what? It's like Karrion Kross, where in interviews he's amazing. Character was like, he's a gimp.
God, I forgot Karrion Kross ever existed. Whatever happened to him?
MLW, baby.
Did he?
Yes. And
wow.
when he found out that Sami won the title, he marked out like crazy. Like there's actual video of him freaking out about Sami.
What? It positively?
Well, yeah, it's sort of like it's that thing because they were doing that angle with them before Cross left last year at SummerSlam. They were doing this whole thing of like you need to do this, do that, otherwise you'll never be champion. It's all, so when they did this whole sort of press conference thing and someone said it to him, he sort of just got up and went, finally! It's almost like he's saying both as a sort of like a mark out for his friend, but also kind of like almost like story as well, like going and see, I told you who would do it if he started acting the way I told him to.
See, I'm pleased then that he was positive for him, because have you seen Hardcore Holly has been tweeting absolutely furious that they made Sami Zayn.
Hardcore Holly today.
Yeah, hang on.
I'm not on Twitter anymore, so I didn't see this. No.
Right. Okay. Hang on. So let me just bring it up here. Right. For some reason, I'm going to trust that this is the real Hardcore Holly. He's got 67,000 followers. Oh shit! I'll just read it. But he's like, Triple H had an idea: put the belt on Sami Zayn and have him beat everyone. What a stupid thought. Then he's got a photo of himself, Hardcore Holly has, with this like 10-year-old. This young man could beat the shit out of garbage talent Sami Zayn. That pubic hair covered ball of spoiled pizza dough isn't marketable as WWE champion. He's not going on the mainstream shows. He has no appeal to anyone. What's his beef with Sami Zayn?
I don't think
he's bad for business. But Triple H loves him. He has the belt, and he'll unjustly go into the Hall of Fame before I will.
No, I don't think that's really Hardcore Holly.
Hang on, let me bring it up.
I
think it is.
I think someone's taken over the account. That probably used to be his account, but I do think he stopped tweeting like a long time ago.
Okay. Well, why
taking his account?
Oh, okay. I'll take.
I don't think that sounds like a proper internet like shitpost rant that you get on those terrible Facebook posts.
Yeah.
I mean, he would know about one-time runs, wouldn't he? Though.
He'd know about what?
He'd know about one-time title runs, wouldn't he?
I don't know. He's ever won title, so
I thought he won it at the Royal Rumble for like a day.
No, he didn't win it. He lost to Brock. He had a title shot.
No. Okay. Bob Holly won the Intercontinental title, and then they reversed it.
Huh.
Is that what you're thinking?
I think I've merged the two things together.
Okay.
Where he had a title shot at the Rumble, and I thought
who did he win it from? Is it like Jeff Jarrett? Was this proper Sparky Plug era? Sparky Bug, right?
Yeah,
where like
the bell,
like an episode of Raw, he was in his hometown, and there was like a screwy finish, and they made them wrestle again, and then he didn't win.
Yeah, it might have been. I've done a couple of those sort of weird ones on Raw. They vacate the title for the week, and then it's back to the heel champion again. I think they did that with Goldust and Savio Vega as well, or something like that. I think I remember, but I think it might be. I think you're right. Maybe you did.
I am such a fan of the idea of retroactively recognizing championship wins that were undone. Like Owen Hart won the world title.
Yeah, you're very big on that.
Yeah, I'm very big on that. Ted DiBiase bought the title, but he defended the title, put it in the record books. You know, Jericho had a WWF World Heavyweight Championship win over Triple H. You know, put it in the record books. Chris Bent, no, forget that one. But you know what I mean? There's been lots of these that have happened.
Does Brian Kendrick count?
Does Brian get? Well, no, because that was the what was that? Screwball Scramble match. What was it called?
Yeah,
Scramble.
Championship Scramble.
I like the idea of being called a Screwball Scramble match. I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
No, that was the Jackass Sami Zayn match.
Yeah.
Well, the Screwball Scramble match. Okay, so here's the last one I'll read from. Look, you know, if this is a fake Bob Holly account, it may fill the void that this show has had since the Iron Sheik passed away.
I think it was Bob Holly's account, but I think someone's taken it over. That doesn't sound like a Bob Holly thing.
God damn it! When I wrestled for WWE, I made the work look real. I was always in shape and TV ready when I was hurt.
I don't think he'd go and do that.
Never had the belt, but you give Sami Zayn the belt, someone who looks like a half-digested roast beef sandwich. That pisses me off. That does sound like Bob Holly to me.
That sounds like it sounds like Jeff Jarrett, like at the end there. That pisses me off. Don't piss me off, slap nuts.
Yeah, true. Do you remember when Hardcore Holly won the Hardcore title when he wasn't meant to? And then on WrestleMania, he stood there with a belt, and clearly he had just got a bollocking, right, from Vince being like, "You shouldn't have pinned him so soon," or something like this, you know. And then he's speaking to Michael Cole, and he's just like, "You little shithead." And he's just clearly, even though he had won the belt, he had just received a massive dressing down, and he was so angry.
Yeah, he's angry about the match. Obviously, he just ended, isn't he? They all are.
Yeah,
terrible match though. That's so old WrestleMania was terrible. Anyway, that's around for another
time. Okay, so coming back to the modern day. So at the beginning, Dev, we were saying about Night of Champions, Sami Zayn, and obviously Uncle Saudi and Bob Holly's views on it aside. Sami Zayn now is the world champion. We're heading towards SummerSlam, which what date is that? It's not yet, obviously.
August 1st and 2nd, I think.
Wow. 2-night SummerSlam.
Yeah.
But yeah, did you have any particular thoughts on anything from Night of Champions, Dave?
The open match was way too long for my liking.
It was a really short match. Right.
Yeah, it was too long.
Yeah, it dragged, didn't it? It dragged.
Yeah. I mean, Oba can have long matches, but with Jay, he should not have a long match with Jay.
Jay can't have
was 8 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Right, that's too much Jey Uso. Right,
yeah, that's the longest Oba's gone for.
We need the entrance to be longer than the match.
The interesting thing with Jey Uso. Do you remember when? Billy Gunn when he became like a single star?
Yeah.
And it was just like, yeah, Billy Gunn, he's gonna he's gonna step up. And then as soon as he was like the King of the Ring and stuff, everyone was just all collectively like, oh, Road Dogg and Bart were the ones carrying these matches, not Billy, you know. And it's the same.
I swear. They weren't saying that, dude.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were.
No one has ever said that Road Dogg carried the matches.
Yeah,
like Billy Gunn on his own is no good. Billy Gunn on his own.
Was no good.
Jey Uso, he needs Jimmy there. I swear, this is the thing. The ones that you think are the Janettas are actually the ones doing the donkey work and carrying the matches.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd have Road Dogg being the in-ring general of the team. But
I'm not saying the in-ring general. The charisma, the personality, the timing.
David, have you seen Road Dogg wrestle in AEW?
Road Dogg wrestling in AEW?
No, sorry.
No one's seen Road Dogg wrestling in AEW.
Wait,
Billy Gunn wrestling in AEW.
No, okay. Billy Gunn nowadays, you know, I'm a massive supporter of what he's been doing in AEW, right? But it's different because his now old school mentality is such a breath of fresh air, and also in AEW he is a giant compared to most of the roster, so he can legitimately just take it at his pace, look like he's tossing people around. It's a very different story.
To Billy Gunn's defense, in 1999 when he won the King of the Ring, okay, so first of all, it was a weird thing because if I remember this rightly, I'm very sure that the week before King of the Ring on Raw, he won there was a 6-man tag where he was teaming with the Acolytes against DX and Kane. He won the match, and then stole one of the tag titles. The Acolytes were tag champions, so he took one of the tag titles with him because he thinks he won the match, so he won the title. So he went off. So he wrestled King of the Ring with one of the tag titles. He was claiming to be one half the tag champions. He wins King of the Ring. The next night, he wrestles Bradshaw for the possession of the tag title and loses. So in his first Raw after King of the Ring, he loses to Bradshaw.
Yeah,
the Acolytes Bradshaw, by the way, not even single star out of Bradshaw. Is that? And then he's just busy wrestling Rock, who's just refusing to put him over. He won't do anything to help him out. Every time he does, every time he had to do anything to do with Billy Gunn, he was just taking the piss out of him. He did that famous promo where he's like talking
Remind me.
where he takes piss out of Billy Gunn talking to God. You know, he's down on your knees with tears running down your face and piss starting to run down your leg, going, "Dear God, I'm gonna wrestle a rock, but everyone thinks I suck." It's like, well, listen.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, and then God says to you, "Well, listen, buddy. My name's Billy. It doesn't matter what your name is."
Yeah.
So there's that whole promo there, where he's just not taking Billy Gunn seriously at all.
Yeah.
So like 6-7 weeks after he wins King of the Ring, they just pair him back up with Road Dogg.
See, again, coming back to what we were saying earlier about the King of the Ring as a concept, and also coming back to what I was saying about like some people. I was saying earlier, Dev, before you were here, that there's some people that don't ever need to be world champion and their legacy is cemented. There are some people that you kind of make a world champion, kind of hoping it will get them to be recognized as something more than they are. The King of the Ring was also one of these things, and so that might be one of the reasons why the King of the Ring as a concept eventually didn't do as well, because when you think that it started with Brett and then Owen and then they put it on Mabel, and from Mabel we bounced back with Steve Austin, but Steve Austin as King of the Ring was, I've won this tournament, but I'm never going to wear the crown. You're never going to call me King Austin or whatever like this. It was just an irrelevance, right? And what made Steve Austin at that was obviously the character getting over, but then obviously the beating Jake and the promo, which no one knew that was going to happen, and then suddenly take off and elevate him in that regard. So that was incidental to the King of the Ring. Helmsley's fine, but then was it Shamrock?
That was just fun. I will say though that the whole Steve Austin 316 thing is like, yeah, he did the promo, he beat Jake and did the promo and everything like that. But WWE will tell you in their documentaries that like the next night there was Austin 316 signs everywhere on Raw and things like that. No, they weren't. They didn't do anything with him for like months until Bret Hart said he wanted to work with Steve Austin. And that's when they started elevating him. Anyway, sorry.
Well, you know, I remember that. So was that going into Survivor Series?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't remember like when you started seeing. I can imagine there could have been signs, but I believe
that match that year. He had a pre-show match with Yokozuna, which was like lasted 2 minutes.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, and so Shamrock, obviously, him being and then we're into Billy, and who won it?
Lesnar.
Edge. Did Edge? Oh no, Kurt Angle beat Edge.
Angle and Edge, then Brock Lesnar.
Oh no, so Kurt Angle, Edge, Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Kurt, they used it well. Edge, it was meaningless that he was King of the Ring. And Lesnar, again, it became like the Royal Rumble where it became a world title match that you get out of it. But him being King of the Ring actually was kind of meaningless.
And to be fair, Edge did come up with the terminology, "I will not Billy Gunn this reign."
That's great. Oh dear. Right. Okay. So, what were we talking about? I forgot even.
King of the Ring. Oddly enough, because I started watching in 2000, because I started watching in 2006, you never got to mention the two kings that I saw, which were Booker, which was the greatest
King Booker
in the history of the concept.
Yes, that's true.
And
no, he was a great. Yeah, he might have been the best to use the gimmick.
Yeah. And
well, him and Owen used it well before.
I've never seen that one. Was it the King of Hearts thing?
Yeah, King of Hearts, Owen Hart. Yeah.
Because, and I also want to bring up something that was tragically cut short because of a wellness violation.
King Regal.
Yeah. Because
apparently we were going to get a Mad King Regal thing based off like Macbeth and stuff.
Oh, that would have been good. That actually sounds pretty good.
He's done several events in London where he's discussed it, where he's like, the original plan was to be a Mad King and have a court of like.
Because he was GM, wasn't he, as well?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then, then like King Wade Barrett. Oh, was it? Did we have Baron Corbin?
Oh, yes.
Shit.
He was,
right.
yeah.
And
back.
Xavier Woods.
King Corbin.
Was, King of the Ring,
Woods,
and they dropped him as they just dropped the gimmick after a few weeks or a
couple
of months.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. That's when they brought it back, wasn't it, for the Saudi shows? There's
Yeah.
King Woods and Queen Zelina, wasn't it? I think was.
Although King of the Ring was one of Xavier Woods' life goals, above world champion.
Well,
So-
yeah, wasn't it that he was like, "Look, I'm not going to get the world championship." Like he looks around, like, you know, Kofi obviously, even though they disgraced him with the way they treated him, Kofi was a deserving world champion. Big E obviously could go on and did go on to be a world champion, and he was just like, "Give me King of the Ring," and so he set his heart on it, and he got it. So, you know.
Yeah.
I'm pleased for that. Okay, actually, just saying about that, because the New Day, when are they free to go to AEW? Because that must be soon.
Don't know off the top of my head. It's
90 days.
It's soon.
It has to be soon, doesn't it? Could they be there by All In?
Because they've it depends. I think that their contract, I don't know about. There's a few people that have surfaced up on other programs, other shows, due to the fact that they had, like, Kaylee Ray has appeared at Pro Schemes recently outside of that 90 days because the contract expired rather than being released, so she was able to return fairly swiftly.
Wow.
Speaking of that, though, we forgot to. I don't know if anyone cares, but Apollo Crews returned to TNA.
Returned to TNA.
Yeah, as Uhaa Nation.
Wow. I don't know. Been in TNA.
Okay,
He was in
so
TNA very
apparently-
early on with Moose. Back in the day.
Really? Okay, don't remember that.
Woods and Kingston left WWE on May 2nd, so they could absolutely be at All In as.
Oh yeah, it could
Yeah,
be.
they could absolutely be there if they bring them in as well. For the love of God, let them be a tag team and associated, but don't just make them bunged in the tag division forever. Like, really, you know, push, reignite some Kofi Mania is what I would say.
they're going to do Young Bucks, aren't they? They're going to be a Young Bucks match.
Oh,
Just,
but they could, because then they'd have, if they wanted to build him up again, they'd have to really try to build him up from the tag division. They could have them there, and it could be like, oh my God, these two guys here, and Woods could be like, you know, and I want to be a world champion too, and stuff like this. And they could both set their sights, what, you know, AEW and Ring of Honor world titles, we're coming for everything sort of thing, you know, and they could lean into, you know, there's some mania in the air that might be coming back, and blah blah blah. And like we were saying, it'd be months and months away. But if you're going to compete with WrestleMania, Kofi Kingston could be in a big spot as like very recognizable mainstream star.
See, if they wanted to do it, there's a very easy way they could separate the New Day for a while at the beginning, because they could lean into the whole Kenny Omega and Xavier Woods real life gaming rivalry as storyline.
They could do
Come
actually.
in.
Yeah. See,
I
this
think
is such a shame. Is that so much of that I think was based around Street Fighter, and AEW did lots of Street Fighter crossover stuff. But now they can't touch that now because Roman and Cody are in the movie.
Although saying that, Kenny's still doing gaming stuff like Street Fighter
true.
promotion now.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, because
he
he's
does
playing
the
one of,
DLC.
he's one of the characters in the actual game.
Yeah.
Something has just struck me though that Kofi Kingston has obviously can't use the Kingston name because it's trademarked, so he's just going by Kofi, I believe, is his indie name or whatever going forward. I do wonder if it does join in AEW, does he do the same sort of thing that Cody had to do for like months and just where he's just Cody for ages? And could AEW could AEW call him Kofi Rhodes?
Kofi Rhodes, that'd be brilliant. But no, like the name Kofi is unique enough where they just call him Kofi.
Yeah, that's why he's trademarked. So.
And look, and the weird thing in the history of WWE is Xavier Woods obviously can't use that name, but he's already well known as Austin Creed, even during his time in WWE, because somehow for all of his gaming stuff on the side, he just continued to be call himself Austin Creed.
Yeah, that's what he'll.
Which is so bizarre.
It's interesting. So I think it's I do wonder if you're going to see anybody else pop up. I doubt we're going to see. I doubt we're going to see Malachi Black come back. But That would be
Malachi Black is going to MLW, the only company that will take him.
MLW, baby.
Did he burn bridges with
Everywhere?
AEW? Yeah. It's a shame. He's talented, but I never got into his personality. I possibly did slightly more in the House of Black at first in AEW, but it never progressed anywhere.
Yeah, we just used to lose to people. It was just a bit.
The only thing is, everybody else apart from him, the House of Black was better than him.
Who else was in the House of Black?
Murphy and Brody.
Who?
Murphy.
Oh yeah, of course. Wow. Are they better than him?
Yes.
No, I don't care about Murphy. Right. Okay, guys. Anything else before we wrap up here? I'll check to see if there's any late breaking news. Go on.
Yes, I do want to talk about NXT just very briefly.
Yeah, go for it.
They had Great American Bash on Saturday as part of the sort of first time on the CW network. Obviously, it didn't apply to us because we watch it on Netflix. And a decent enough show. A weird show in some respects, and obviously Evil, having recently debuted there, got his title match. Naraku as he's now known, against they did the flaming contract angle on TV where Tony D'Angelo opened the contract and a fireball burst out. And so instead of just like doing an eye patch or some eye injury and things like that, they've wrapped him up in a massive amount of bandage, like to the point where he looks like a pyro, but with like a white bandage around him, blood like coming out the side of him. He still had the same bandage on, seemingly. He's still like that the whole thing, the whole match. And he wins. He retains the title in like 10 minutes. It was so weird.
Was it against Will Cruz?
But sorry,
was it against Will Cruz?
No, it was against it was Naraku and Tony D'Angelo. Will Cruz was on there. But I'll go through every single match. But I do want to talk about the most random moment in the whole show. So when they do this whole thing before in other matches where they've had this idea that underneath the ring is like a transportation to hell, or it's where little people's court is, all that sort of stuff. They did a match between Shiloh Hill, who, if you don't watch the show, is like this former American football player who's got this sort of like he's just a bit of a weirdo. So he knows how to like break into codes and all that sort of stuff. So he's like a computer geek. He knows how to break into codes. But he had like an unusual childhood growing up and things like that. He'd try and make friends with squirrels.
Oh, NXT Crowbar.
And he has got this thing where he takes his tooth out. He's got a fake tooth where he can pulls out and things like that every now and then in his matches. He's up against a guy called Tristan Angel, who is a British wrestler. Looks a lot like Lewis Howley or Elton Prince, or whoever from Pretty Deadly. And they had a match over the sash of Mr. NXT. Yeah. But they had a match where Shiloh went underneath the ring and go from there. And Tristan Angel gets pulled underneath the ring, which had happened in a previous match as well, where interference happened. For the first time ever, they cut to a camera position, a camera viewpoint of Tristan Angel under the ring, looking around, seeing, I can't find anybody who's pulled him under there. I can't see anything. But he finds a phone that's going off. And he gets up the phone, he answers it, and he go onto there. You just hear this voice on the phone going, "It's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming," or something like that. There's this voice, and he turns it off, things like that. Shiloh Hill, in a Freddy Krueger-esque or Jason Voorhees-esque mask, suddenly attacks him from behind, trying to choke him out, and all that sort of stuff. That gets out of it. He gets out of there. It cuts back to the live action. He gets back out underneath the ring, and he's like, "What the hell just happened?" And then Shiloh Hill, from behind, grabs him again without the mask, back in the live action. They do this whole thing where he's just suddenly transporting. So Shiloh Hill's got this horror movie sort of knowledge or character sort of thing where he's able to transport to different bits and different things like Jason Voorhees or something like that. It was the most random thing I think I've ever seen on NXT in terms of why is there a camera underneath the ring, that sort of thing. Talking about logic earlier in wrestling.
Yeah, we were.
It's like,
I need to. And that was that on the Great American
Bash.
Yeah, wow. I think they're transitioning from Crowbar and Daphne to Wyatt family again.
It was, yeah. Well, there's a slight crowbar-esque nature to him, especially when it's been paired up with Tate and Paxley on occasion, who pretty much is the current
Daphne.
version of Daphne. So yeah, which is they did a little tribute to him actually. Actually, but there was some good matches on there, and if you do want to check anything out, you should check the women's matches on there. So they had Zarya and Tate and Paxley, and the main event was I forgot the names. Load of Vice defending the title against. Help me out, Dev. It was
I can't remember
the name. Anyway, but the main event was between those two. It was very, very good. So two singles women's matches I would recommend to watch.
Okay, cool. Right, guys, let's wrap this up here. There's a clip here. I don't know when it's from. Like when is SmackDown? Have they filmed it? They've already taped it. Okay, because I'll put this up for a split second because I'm sure they'll ding me with the copyright thing anyway. But this is apparently Kevin Owens surprising Sami Zayn, which I think is a cool moment.
Oh, nice.
Because I haven't read any spoilers if it's taped. I fully expected if Owens could return, it would have been at this point, and he'd have like stood celebrated with him, and then took the title from him, basically. But no, Owens must be thrilled for him. Oh, look at that! That's great. He just punted him. That's great. I said what he literally said. He literally look at that. That's great. Okay, guys, let's find out where we can find everyone on social media, starting with Dev. Where can the people find you?
You can find me on TikTok and Twitch on the name FWDAT.
Okay, Dave.
David Davis Green on most social medias, and it's Kendall Gray, who I was thinking of earlier a moment ago. Kendall Gray versus there you
go. Okay. And my name is David Psansky. Follow me at David Psansky and everything Slam Jam Wrestling Show related. And with that, until next time, stay safe, always stay extreme, and ciao for now. Boom. And we are off the air.
It's a shoot, brother.